Okay, so we are continuing on with lesson number 1, and this is the second topic. Actually, we covered 2 topics, A and A1. A1 was an additional topic which we covered yesterday. On a regular path, this is the topic B, and we are going to talk about strategic alignment here. I did emphasize when I was describing about business acumen, why it is so important that whatever you do in your organization must be in strategic alignment. Otherwise, whatever you are doing may not be suitable for the organization, may not be delivering value to the organization, may not be accomplishing the vision and mission of the organization. So let's talk about that. As we already understand, the PMI talent triangle, we see that we have 3 vertices in it, and one of the vertices, the last one, is business acumen. I would say it is not the last one, rather it is the very first one. Business acumen is the most important thing. If you can't understand the strategic alignment, then probably you can't have a business acumen. You must have some understanding of the organization, their strategies, their goals, their vision and mission, and how do we align whatever we do, how do we align that with our organization. That is business acumen. And today, this section specifically is focused on this strategic alignment. Okay. All right. So I will like to ask you, what do you understand by what the strategic alignment is, by asking you some questions. You must be doing some projects in your organization, or you might have some role in your organization. I understand that is not a strategic role. You may not be the person who is creating or developing the strategy of the organization. But as a project manager, do you know your organization's strategic plan? Does anyone share it with you? Do they think it is important for you?
The short answer to that question is probably no. But I guess it's sort of looking at a couple of things. Health New Zealand is trying to expand healthcare services. So one area of focus would be looking at where population is expanding, where the vulnerable population is. And another aspect might be looking at sort of the age of the hospitals and which one might be considered higher priority for replacement.
Yeah, that is very good. That is very good, because then you are somehow tied with your organization strategy. If you understand what are their plans, what is the direction of the organization, so you can also align yourself towards that direction and start contributing to the organization. So that is a very good thing, that you know your strategic plan, your organization's strategic plan. Some organizations, they keep the strategic plan as some kind of a secret. The whole organization is not informed about what their strategy is. They just want them to work like laborers. Well, I'm happy that in your organization you have that awareness. Second question: understand how project goals matter to an organization's long-term vision and mission. Now, this is a deeper question. You know the strategic plan, but do you know the vision and mission of the organization, and how your project goals are contributing towards achievement of those vision and mission?
What would you say is sort of the difference between what you describe as a strategic plan versus a vision and mission?
Okay. I will explain that later, but just for answering this question, vision is the top level organizational dream where they want to be. Mission is how to accomplish it. It's a one single statement for the whole organization. This is the direction we are going. And then to achieve that mission, we develop several strategies under that. And say there are 20 different strategies, which, if accomplished, all 20 of them, our mission will be achieved, and thus our vision will be achieved. So, strategic goals and objectives come under the mission. Mission is a broad but concise statement. Vision is a kind of a hazy statement. It's like a dream, what we want to achieve.
Okay, well, to answer your question, I guess if we're sort of taking Auckland City, it's New Zealand's largest city.
Mhm.
Um, it it has sort of limited area for expansion because we have the ocean on the east and the west side.
Right.
So really, there's a lot of growth on the south side, and so I'm working on projects that are sort of based in South Auckland, where the population is growing and is possibly more vulnerable.
Okay. Okay. Whatever the area you have, that must be fulfilling a part of the strategy or one of the strategies which would ultimately be contributing to the mission and vision, right?
Yes.
Maybe your organization is divided in such a manner that they might be divided in four portions. You might be looking at the eastern portion, another part, another team might be looking at the western portion, something like that. So they all have the different strategies, but the mission is the same.
Yes, the mission is the same to expand our healthcare services.
Exactly, exactly. And there must be a limit to the mission that extend our healthcare services up to this extent, no, overall extent, up to maybe the whole New Zealand is covered under it, or maybe some other more area. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a national organization, so ultimately it's for the whole country, but we're limited by the budget.
Right, wonderful. Okay, so we understand now that your project, whatever you are doing, you always consider what your organization actually wants to achieve. You work towards that objective. You work towards the achievement of the larger vision and mission. Next question. See a high level overview of the organization. Well, I understand you are a project manager and you have got maybe a very large project, but you look at the things from the perspective of the project. Have you ever tried to look at it from the higher pedestal, maybe standing at a higher pedestal and looking down at the whole organization and trying to imagine how your contributions are flowing upwards to the satisfaction of the organizational strategy, the big picture.
Right. Um, so my sort of area is clinical engineering.
Mhm.
And when we're building these new buildings to expand this healthcare service, there's a lot that goes into it with construction sort of being quite a large portion. So I guess being involved with clinical engineering more so than construction, it's sort of a
Right,
specialized area that needs a bit more specialized
very
knowledge that a construction person might not have.
right. So somebody is responsible for construction, you are responsible for clinical trials, and somebody else is doing something else. But if you look at it from the highest pedestal, you see everyone is progressing towards the organizational strategic objectives, right? So you
Yes,
know with this collaboration, we will be able to ultimately achieve. You can see it happening in a kind of a collaboration.
yes, that's right.
Very good. Next question is have a working knowledge of business functions. Now, this is very important. You are in clinical trials, but do you know how the funding works in the organization, how other functions, accounting, finance, and other departments of the organization, do you have some awareness about all of the various business functions?
Loosely speaking, I have some awareness. I'm not super clear over it all. And being a national organisation, it does filter down right from the top level, right from the government, how much budget can we give the health service, and then it slowly filters down through the different levels of seniority who approves different budgets.
Exactly. That is exactly what I wanted to know. You should have a little bit of knowledge about everything, but naturally, what is your main area of expertise, you would be the expert in that, but you should know how I'm going to be interacting and interfacing with other business functions. When we have to get the funding, who is the person to whom I should approach? When I have to get some expert advice on some other portion of the work which I am not expert of, I can get it. So you know where uh, everything lies and how you can interact with them because you know the business functions.
Yeah, so I think, like, loosely speaking, I have an idea, but it takes me a lot of kind of digging and asking around to find out who's the right person to talk to, who has the knowledge, because
Right.
not everyone knows what's going on everywhere,
Yeah.
including myself.
But I do understand that maybe you may not be, because it's a very large organization, may not be knowing all the functions, but at least you have an idea uh, how to get the things done. Yeah.
Yes,
That
correct.
was the whole purpose of it.
Okay.
Last but not the least, um, have pertinent product and industry expertise. Naturally, you are in clinical trials, so whatever are the pertinent products and industry expertise relevant to clinical trials in your area and in the industry, cutting edge technology, you must be aware of that.
Yes, yes, and at the very least, I usually know who to talk to, who would have that kind of information if I don't have it on hand.
Very nice. Now, having answers on these questions, I do understand that you do have some business acumen and you can handle things on your own, and you are not doing things haphazardly. You are sure where the things are going, what the strategy of the organizations are, and how your project is meeting those strategies. How are you interacting with the various business functions and the knowledge you should have pertinent to your things. So this is a good picture evolving out of it. So
Right.
now, having answered these questions, can you explain the essential business aspects of your project? What is, I'm asking you to tell me what is the business aspect of your project. If your project is successful, how does it benefit your organization?
Um, so if the project is successful, then we're able to successfully open up new or more parts of the health service to provide service to a larger quantity of patients.
Right, very good. So again, you have clarity on that. You understand how your project is interacting with the essential business aspect. Now, do you work with subject matter experts and sponsor to develop an appropriate project delivery strategy?
Yes, definitely. So there's sort of, different aspects to that. If we're talking about selecting clinical equipment, the SMEs, I'd be talking to the clinical staff who use the equipment, so I can sort of get their requirements.
Mhm.
And then if we're talking about on the delivery side, I would work with the suppliers to confirm that they can deliver the goods and maybe they have the engineers to install.
Wonderful. It's great. You're going exactly on the right path. Last but not the least, can you implement the strategy to maximize the business value of project? I mean, within your project, how can you implement that delivery strategy as if the benefit which is expected out of the project can be maximized, and you are trying to be just not effective, but you are trying to be efficient in that. Do you work on that line?
Right. So I guess for me, it would be trying to make sure that it gets delivered on time within budget. And that might be sort of coordinating both the suppliers to make sure that they have enough availability and manpower on their end, and enough availability and manpower on our internal engineering team as well. Because lots and lots and lots of equipment's being delivered. Say if it all gets delivered at the same time, it's not that efficient because there's only so much work someone can handle. So sort of, scheduling it in such a way that maybe it's staggered over a period of time so that people can handle the volume of equipment coming in.
Very nice. But that is just the effectiveness. If you're keeping up with the time and cost, you are being effective. But when you go an extra mile, thus saving time or cost while completing the whole work, that becomes maximization, that becomes efficiency. So that was the point that do you ever consider to implement the strategy in such a manner as if to give more than the promised benefit?
To answer that question, it's quite hard to answer that question because budgets are really tight here. So sometimes we run into problems where the clinical staff say we want all this flash high-end equipment, and we have to come back and say it's not within the budget. So what are sort of your highest priority requirements? We will do our best to fulfill them, but we might not be able to fulfill all your requirements because it's not in budget.
Right. Okay. That is good. That is good. I suppose you are in a good state of business acumen, and now we will talk about these things in a little bit more detail. This is what I was referring to. We now will talk about the relationship between right from the top. This is a vision. Then we create a mission under it. Then we develop the organizational strategies and objectives, and then under that we have the functioning of the organization, which again has kind of two parts. One is the operational side, and the other is the change related initiative, project, program, and portfolio, which we call organizational project management. That is on one side, and normal operations of the organization are on the other side, right? So, what we are more concerned about is the organizational project management from the project point of view, portfolio management, program management, and project management, and then handing it over to the operations. So this is the big picture. Now let me start from the beginning. The vision. As I said before, vision statement is not like a mission statement. It is not a very what do you call it? A doable statement, but it could be a dream. For example, you right from your childhood, you wanted to be a pilot, right? So you don't know how to achieve it, but that was a dream, right? And then maybe you worked hard and you became a pilot one day. So that was the impossibility became a possibility. Actually, that example I am quoting you because at that point when you are trying to dream, you may not know that this thing can really be able to be achieved. So let us visualize where our progress would be in next 20, 25, 30 years, right?
Okay.
Well, I'm not asking you to do that because this is the job of the people in the strategic management, but I'm just introducing what is a vision. They sit together to try to conceive where we want to get to in a longer period of time, maybe 10, 20, or 30 years. So that is their vision. They don't know as yet how to achieve it, but this is their dream. This is an organizational dream. That's why we call it the vision of the organization.
Okay, understand.
Right? I don't want it to be too cloudy. I do want to put some figures to it, like right now your company is say $2 billion company, and you are assuming that in 25 years it would be a $20 billion company, right? So you
Okay.
can put figures to it, you can imagine certain figures, and you can agree in the strategic meeting that this should be our vision. Because dreaming is important for achieving anything. So vision is like a dream, and mission tries to reduce the statement of the vision into a doable format. You say, in next 25 years, we will have to work harder in these areas as if we can increase the revenue of our company to $20 billion. You understand my point?
Yeah, gotcha.
So here it is an executive statement starting with a to do this, right? So mission is an executive statement, but this is not uh, about the detail. It is a simple statement for next 25 years to follow. It will remain true during the next 25 years. We may amend it, refine it, but generally speaking, this mission statement is going to stand good for that period of time.
Okay.
So now you have a vision and you have a mission. And now the strategic people, they sit down to contemplate how this mission can be achieved in next 25 years. So they would say, okay, if we want to do this, we want to work in these 5 areas, and to deal with this area, we will have these 3 strategies, and for this area, we will have these 4 strategies. And naturally, they conceive that when all of these strategies will be completed, our mission will stand accomplished and our vision will be completely achieved. Naturally, we are talking about 25 years. But after 25 years, these strategic objectives and strategies, if achieved, will accomplish my mission and vision. Agreed?
Right. Yeah, agreed.
Okay. Now, once we are clear about this, now let me talk about the operations of the organization. Naturally, an organization cannot survive without operations. There has to be some production, some operation, some functionality going on, as if the normal working of the organization could keep happening and we should keep generating revenues, right? So
Right.
without operations, we can't exist. If we don't earn money, how can we pay our people? You understand that?
Yes.
Even if it is a government department, doesn't matter. A government department also has rules of business. They get funding if you perform well. If your organization has a history of not performing well, they will seize your funding, isn't it?
Yes.
So it is like you have to earn it. You have to earn it. You have to do a good job as if your department can exist. Anyway, so as far as operations are concerned, there is a standard operating procedure in place. And everyone knows what they have to do. They are written down like instructions, and we have to follow those standard operating procedures. And if we keep following them, we will be producing value for the organization. That is a recurring activity that we keep doing. There is no end to it. Like I'm producing something, so we keep producing a quantity on per day or per month basis, and thus yielding revenue for the organization. So we keep producing value by doing repetitive work or recurring activities. That is the definition of operations.
Okay.
In operations, we do not do anything new. we have everything properly written down in shape of standard operating procedures, and we are not supposed to change anything. Different departmental heads have issued the SOPs for doing the operational work. And if somebody does not follow the standard operating procedure, that is considered like a crime, right? Because we don't follow SOP, we won't be able to produce the value. Now, my question is, if the operations you are involved in one of the operations in which you feel something is not, the SOPs are not defining the most efficient manner this thing can be done, can you change it?
Possibly.
Yes?
Yeah, I think it's a possibility.
Okay. So what would be the procedure of changing the SOP? Because that SOP doesn't only affect you, that affects maybe the whole organization.
Are you asking this as a hypothetical question or as
Now,
what I would do?
hypothetical question.
A hypothetical question. Probably take it up with the manager and explain that this is how it is, and this is what could be done to make things more efficient.
Wonderful, wonderful. That is the right answer. That is, when you face an issue in your operations, you try to resolve it at your end if it can be done within your power. And if it is beyond your power and you can't decide, then you have to escalate it to the next higher authority as if they can decide it.
Yeah.
And that way, it keeps getting escalated to maybe to the very high level, the highest level in the organization. And if it still remains unresolved, still remains unresolved, then the strategic management has to make a decision to bring this change or to include a changed procedure within the operations. They have to put in an effort. They may have to start a project to experiment with that idea and prove that this can be done and how it can be done.
Yeah.
That is where the conception of project takes place.
Yes.
And you already know the hierarchy. Something big than project is a program. Something big than program is a portfolio. All of these three things, which are generally called organizational project management, they are all responsible for bringing organizational level change. They are responsible for amending the SOPs.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So if your experiment or the project does yield positive results, it is a success. Only then the management will decide to adopt it in the standard operating procedures, and in future, people would be following the way you have just invented.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, by management of these programs and projects, we won't be doing some kind of recurring activities. We would be doing the projectized activities. I mean, we are more project oriented. We are not doing repetitive work. We are inventing a new way of doing things. It's not a SOP we are following. We are creating a plan to do it, and then we are doing it. So this is all projectized activities, non-recurring. They start at some point and they end at some point. And once we produce results, we are not actually, the operations were producing value. We do not produce value. Project oriented, change oriented initiative, they don't create value, they don't produce value. They just increase your value production capability. So the new capacity, new capability will be induced into the operations, and they would be able to produce more value than what they were producing earlier.
Yeah, makes sense.
And when the change has been implemented, the project or program has no reason to exist any further. Whereas the operations will keep going on, maybe forever. So far, so good?
Yeah, so far so good.
Now, because in an organization, operations and change related initiatives have to coexist. If your organization is forward looking, they will invest more on experimentation. That is, to be on the cutting edge technology, to invent new ways of working, more efficient mechanisms of doing things. That means it is not only the operations which are important, but also the changed way of doing things, new way of working, which can only be invented by the projects and program. So, therefore, our resources are going to be distributed amongst the operations and the change related initiatives. Now, every organization has a limited resource. So, if you get people out from the resource pool for projects and programs, you are understanding that maybe we have to sacrifice a bit on the operational side. If we give more resources to operations, then our projects and programs, our change-related initiatives may suffer. So there has to be a balance between the operations and projects, because without operations, an organization cannot exist. Operations are the lifeblood of the organization. If you freeze your operations, then you stop producing value and you are non-functional completely. So I don't recommend that you should stop operations, but parallel to operations, you should do your projects, change related initiatives, and according to the need of change, you should assign organizational resources to them as well. Because what they are doing, they are bringing new ways of working. They are the soul of development of the future of the technology, right? So where the operation was the blood of everything, it is running the system. On the other hand, the change-related initiatives make you run the system in an even better manner. That's why you should be very judicious in distributing your organizational resources amongst operations and change-related initiatives.
Yeah.
One other thing is given here is the concept of OKR. On the right-hand side, OKR. Have you ever heard about it?
No.
I understand most people have not heard about it, but you must be aware about KPIs.
Yes.
KPIs are key performance indicators, and normally every organization does understand what are KPIs. KPIs are usually set at the highest pedestal. I mean, if you are a project manager, your sponsor or your program manager will try to keep a tab on your progress, and they will give you certain key performance indicators to accomplish. Right?
Right. Yeah.
And you will prove to them that yes, these KPIs have been accomplished and we are doing well. Because they don't want to micromanage you. They cannot monitor each and every move you are moving in the project. So they are more concerned about broad categorization of KPIs, and they just watch KPIs to observe how well are you performing in your project. This also applies to operations. It is not only for project. Whatever the work is, we can have KPIs in that.
Yeah.
OKR is a new concept, and basically it is influenced from the adaptive way of working, and it is a better concept than a KPI. It says, as we have the vision, mission, strategies, and objectives, so why don't we connect our performance mechanism with this hierarchy? So the lowest level objective, each objective is broken down into certain key results which are desired for achieving that objective. And we rather focus on achievement on those key results rather than KPIs. KPIs are kind of ad hoc, they are not specific, but these key results are specific to the objectives. So, this OKR is a new way of measuring the progress of the work, and I will show you later in another slide the differences between KPIs and OKR. But I just wanted to introduce you the concept of objectives and key results, OKRs.
Okay, sounds good.
If it makes some sense, I will proceed ahead.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Keep that in your mind, and we are moving on to the next topic, and that is organizational influences. Probably I did mention it before as well. When I was showing you the system of value delivery diagram, where we were showing projects, programs, and portfolios together, I did show there are certain external environmental influences, and there are some internal environmental influences. The external environmental influences are which are influencing our organization and our project and everything from outside of the organization. For example, the weather conditions, the environmental conditions, the rules and regulations, the law of the land, and things like that are the standards applied. So these things are coming from outside the organization and influence whatever we are doing, whether they are operations or they are projects, our programs, our portfolios. Everything we do in the organization is influenced by the external enterprise environmental factors. But there are also some internal enterprise environmental factors, and these are the habits inherited from the internally from the organization. Our organization may have certain culture, certain style, way of working, and several other things. These are the influences on the working of the operations or project from the side of the organization. They come, they are conditions imposed on you from within the organization, not externally. These are called internal enterprise environmental factors.
Yeah.
Now, these two things I have discussed with you are here, internal and external enterprise environmental factors. I have explained external and internal. Now, as I said, enterprise environmental factor is a factor, it is a condition, it is not a document, it is not a law, it is a condition. For example, it is too cold. Being cold is a condition, right?
Yes.
So these are not necessarily documentary things. On the other hand, there are other things which are called organizational process assets. These are always internal to the organization, and these are documentary in nature. OPAs are from the side of the organization. Organization gives you certain guidelines or certain historical data. These are in documentary format, and they are called organizational process assets. They could be policies, procedures, templates, formats, rules, regulations, whatever could be in writing. It also could be the record from the older projects, historical data. Now, let us divide this into two parts. The OPS can be divided into the read-only section, which you can read and follow but cannot change. These are the processes, policies, and procedures which are given to you to follow, but you can't change them. You can't amend them. You just can follow them. Then we have got corporate knowledge base. This is the lessons learned or the historical data which has been left out from earlier projects, and that could guide you in whatever you are doing in your project. You can make use of that. So you can consult with the historical data. And not only that, when you finish your project, you are going to leave your historical data and your lessons learned into the corporate knowledge base. So you can read from here and also write it. I mean, at the end of the project, you would be leaving your lessons learned into the corporate knowledge base. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So we have two types of influences. First is the enterprise environmental factors. Another is the organization process assets. As I explained, enterprise environmental factors could be external or internal. As far as OPAs are concerned, organization process assets could also be divided into two parts. One is the read-only category and other is the read and write category. Read-only category is the rules, policies, procedures, format, which has been imposed on you. You have to follow them. You can't change them. You can't defy them.
Yes.
Corporate knowledge base, this is not mandatory on you. You can consult at your own will the historical database and try to get out as much information as you want. And when you are leaving, when you are done with your project, you can leave out your lessons learned into the corporate knowledge base. That means you can read and write.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So if you are comfortable with this, let us see what do we do here? As far as the external business environment is concerned, when the business analyst is trying to develop the business case, he would have not only to analyze the project or the business case from only the financial perspective. He has to look at all other perspectives as well. So we have got many models to do that. Although I am not supposed to go into much of detail into this, but I just have to introduce you. There is a very old method which is called Pestle method or Pestle analysis.
Okay.
These are 6 characters, each standing for one aspect. It is not only the financial aspect. It is P for political, E for economic, S for socio-cultural, T for technical, L for legal, and E for environmental.
Right.
So when you are carrying out the analysis of the whole situation, you have to dig into each one of these analyses. Right?
Yeah.
Now, if the project is kind of a national level, then the Pestle analysis is more suitable. A global or national level, the level is high, where we can talk about the politics at the government level, we can talk about economic at the global or national level, socio-cultural factors of your country, technical aspects, naturally prevalent from whatever perspective you are in. Legal aspects are very important. And last but not the least, environmental factors. There are many projects which cannot be conducted just because they are environmentally not sound. It is not the matter of feasibility. It is not the matter of financial feasibility. Sometimes we are not allowed to do certain projects because they are environmentally unsafe.
Yeah.
So PESLE analysis, I would say it is more for large scale projects at the national or global level. Then we have got another kind of analysis, which is called TCOP analysis. I would say, although it looks very similar to the content of the PESLE analysis, but it is a lower category. It is more technical in nature. It is not like a national project, but just a project, a smaller project, or maybe a technical project, where we don't have to cater much for the economy, for the national politics or international politics. We don't bother about that. In TCOP, we have T stands for technical, E for environmental, C for commercial, O for operational, and P for political. You see, we have the priority has changed, and some of the components have also changed. For example, political has moved from first place to the last place.
Yes.
Why? Because we are only talking about the office politics now. We are
Right.
not talking about the national politics, and that comes last. But in a PESLE analysis, political is the first aspect. If politically something is not sound, probably we won't do it. Maybe it is economically sound, but politics is the first priority. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In TCOP, what is the difference? We don't have economics here, but rather we have commercial aspects, right? So from the business point of view, we are not looking at the economy of the whole country. We are looking at the commercial aspect of the project. Will it benefit my business or not? That is the commercial aspect. So economic has been replaced by commercial. Environmental remains there, but it comes on a higher priority after technical. Environments are a major concern in a technical project. Then is the commercial aspect. And we don't have any legal aspect here. I mean, you may have, but it is not that important. We are rather concerned about the operability of that thing what we are creating. So will it be operational? Is it operationally sound? Is this concept or this project is operationally sound? And lastly, is it politically correct? So this is TCOP analysis. It all depends upon you. Which method are you picking up for your analysis?
Right.
There is a modern method which has recently been introduced, just like KPIs are being replaced by OKR. So these PESLE and TCOP analysis are being replaced by this VUCA analysis. VUCA has also taken birth out of adaptability, right? It is adaptive methods which have given us a new perspective.
Okay.
So VUCA says, forget about everything. Let us look at 4 aspects only. How volatile the situation is, how uncertain the situation is, how complex the situation is, and how ambiguous a situation is. Higher level of volatility, higher level of uncertainty, higher level of complexity, and higher level of ambiguity simply decide to do in an agile manner. This project cannot be done by predictive method. So this is a clean template for doing an agile project. I mean, if you are just deciding whether this job can be done by adaptive or agile method, then probably first do the VUCA, and VUCA will tell you that it is a suitable project for VUCA analysis or not. Agile or not.
Okay.
These are the most famous methods, but at the same time, we have several other methods of analyzing the situation. You might have been using them all the time. You might have done comparative advantage analysis. Have you? You have more than
Say
one
it again.
option. Yes, please.
So I was saying, just say that last bit again, please.
Comparative advantage analysis.
Right.
You have more than one options to do something, and you compare those options, that which is going to give me the maximum advantage. That is
Right.
exactly what I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Maximizing. You are trying. I could have done it in three different ways, but this is the best way. So I am comparing the various approaches and selecting the best out of it. So
Yeah.
basically, each one of those approaches was being effective, but this one is efficient.
Okay.
It's most efficient. That
Yeah.
was my purpose when I was asking you in an earlier discussion that there's a difference between effective and efficient. All
Okay. Yeah.
approaches can be effective, but one is the most efficient. Then we conduct feasibility studies all the time. Naturally, this can apply to Tesla, TCOP, and VUCA analysis also, because feasibility analysis could include political analysis, economic analysis, and things like that. So feasibility, generally speaking, we give importance to the financial aspect, but you must always remember that this is not only the financial aspect. Sometimes there are other aspects like Wesley, TCOP, and VUCA.
Yeah.
You must be aware about the SWOT analysis.
Yes.
We did talk about it a bit.
Yes.
So this is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Right. Now, as far as strengths and weaknesses are concerned, they are internal to you. You have certain strengths or you have certain weaknesses. But there are certain things that are influencing you externally, like there might be good luck coming your way, opportunities, or there might be certain threats coming to your way. They are threats. Both of these
Yes.
are the different kinds of risks, positive risk or negative risk. They are not in your control.
Yeah.
But strengths and weaknesses are in your control. Why do I need to identify my strengths and weaknesses? Because usually we do have strengths and weaknesses, but we don't know. If you understand what you are, uh, what is your strength, you can definitely work towards enhancing and improving on that.
Yes.
If you know your weaknesses, you will definitely work to eradicate that weakness. But they
Yeah.
are internal to you. But if you put a little bit of effort, you can capitalize on them. On the other
Right.
hand, the opportunities and threats, because they are not in your control, so if they occur, they are going to affect you. The only thing you can do about them is to reduce their impact when they occur. That is called risk management.
Yeah.
Anyways, this SWOT analysis can be done at any level. You could do a SWOT analysis at the strategic level of the organization, the strategic team sitting together and discussing what are the strengths of our organization, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities open to us, and what are the threats posed. Right? You can
Right.
do
Yeah.
it for your team. You can say, my team, what are the strengths of my team? What are the weaknesses? What are the opportunities open and threats posed? Or you can even do it at your personal level if you want to groom yourself, you want to develop your personality. You can look into yourself and try to find what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, what are the opportunities open to me, and what are the threats posed.
Yeah, true.
So this we usually do it. I don't need to elaborate further, but we do understand what a SWOT analysis is. We do it all the time at every level in our organization and even in our projects.
Yeah.
Another tool is very important, and that is called assumptions analysis. Before we talk about the assumption analysis, we must understand what is an assumption. What do you think is an assumption?
An assumption is something that we might believe in, but we haven't necessarily done any research to prove that what we believe is true.
Right. Very nice. So, generally, when we try to do something, we work on data, on history. We have proved that this thing can be done in this way. But sometimes, when we are, especially we are working on project, there are gaps in information. There are no facts available about certain things. But we have to plan the whole thing. So we have data about certain things and we have gaps in between. Those gaps will have to be filled with assumptions. That may be guesswork, that is the educated guesswork, or whatever you want to call it. It could be your intellect or whatsoever, but there is no proof for that. It is not a
Yeah.
fact. It may prove right or it may prove wrong.
Yes.
So such places where you don't have data, you fill the gap with assumptions and you analyze those assumptions to the best of your knowledge.
Yeah.
There is historical information analysis. As I mentioned earlier, there is a historical data available in the organization. We can always consult it whenever we are trying to do something new and try to hunt it out. Is there is there a similar example in the historical data of what I'm trying to do? Can I get some kind of guidance from there? So this could be a very useful tool. And this is
Yeah.
not only your historical data, you could even consult with other organizations or other archives or libraries where the lessons learned of uh, different organizations and projects have been recorded. You can, if you have access, you can use it from anywhere. Last but not the
Yeah.
least, we uh, try to align our risks with our organization strategy. Now, this could be a difficult concept to understand, but you see, risk is an uncertainty. We have to sometimes, especially in projects, we have to live with uncertainty. It is not possible. You see, you may take any number of assumptions, but if there is a likelihood of something happening, that will happen. But I must understand from the organizational strategy, what did they plan about the absorption of risk? How much risk can we easily take without worrying? That is called risk appetite of the organization. I have to
Okay.
assess what is the risk appetite of my organization, because anything beyond that appetite is a risk to be treated, dealt with. So
Yes.
I must align my project risk with the organizational strategy. Whatever is their policy, whatever is their appetite, I would follow the suit.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay. These are just a little more explanation about uh, PESLE and technique, TCOP and VUCA. I just want to skip them These slides,
Yep.
if you want to see them, you can see them.
That's
Just an
fine.
explanation. Political, regulatory compliances, political stability and economic policies, international relations, this is all political. Economic is economic demographics, consumer confidence, and purchasing power.
I think copy of the slides I have might be different to yours
Yeah, I
because
know,
I
I
actually
know,
can't.
I know. These
Oh, okay.
these are a couple of slides I have added myself.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And if you like, I can share the whole set with you as well.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Thanks.
So you can read through them. I will share them with you.
That'd be great. Thanks.
This is SWOT analysis. Okay, some question. Which three of the following are Pestlet factors?
Okay, that is political, social, legal.
Okay, effectiveness is not.
Great.
Okay, before I can dig deeper into this, I think this is a suitable time to have a 10-minute break.
Yes.
So let's have a 10-minute break. Take care.
Okay. All right. Catch you in 10 minutes.
Yes, Michael, are you there?
Hey there, yeah, I'm back.
Wonderful. Okay, so we have to start with this slide. Uh, Internal business environmental factors. What are these internal business environmental factors? Naturally, these are when we talk about the enterprise environmental factors, you remember those things which were within the organization, they were considered internal factors. So, what are they and how do we work with them? It says organizational changes can dramatically impact the scope. Now, previously, we have talked about bringing the change about through the conduct of projects and programs. Now we are trying to uh, deliberate on a different angle. We are saying there is already a project or a program running, but in the meanwhile, some organizational changes have occurred. So, what will be the impact of those organizational changes on ongoing projects and programs? I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I have some idea with say my organization. It currently is a national organization, but it wasn't like that, and before it was split into lots of regions. So um, coming together as a national organization has had its challenges.
Okay. Well, you will understand that we keep having different changes happening in the organization. Sometimes the strategies change, and we have to reorient everything underneath. I do understand in a government organization, they don't change strategies very frequently. But in a business environment, this is going to happen more frequently. So if there is a organizational change, I mean, change happening at the organizational level, the ongoing operations, projects, programs, they will be impacted by that. Their scope may be impacted by that, right? So you may have to re-evaluate the business case of ongoing projects and programs to be sure that is it still aligned with the strategy of the organization, or we do have to create that alignment again. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To do that, project managers, their sponsors, and even if it is an agile project, the product owner, they all need to be familiar with the business plans of the organization, the reorganizations, the structure of the reorganization, the process changes which have been changed, and other internal activities. So we should be very well aware about all of these things as if we can evaluate the situation again and see if it is still feasible to go on with that initiative. Internal business changes might cause need for a new deliverable. Maybe because of the change in strategy, they want us to deliver more than what was earlier, figured out. Maybe they want double the delivery, right? So we have to bring that change into the statement of our project and amend the plan accordingly. Maybe the duration is doubled, maybe something else happened, but we have to change the plan. Maybe it is due to the reprioritization of value. Previously, the value which we were pursuing was of the highest priority, but now they have changed the priorities, and therefore maybe it eliminates the need for our project completely. Or maybe we have to reconfigure our alignment to the new value. And maybe that brings a lot of changes in your project plan. It may It may remove an existing deliverable. It may change the plan of the project. So whenever this happens, the organization change happens, all the projects in the organization must be re-evaluated, and maybe some project may have to be shut down Some have to be amended, some have to be pended, and some of them may have to be put on fast track. I hope you get the point here.
Yes, I see what you mean with sort of the reprioritization and fast tracking different deliverables because of a change. Yeah.
So these changes will impact. So please be mindful of these are very dangerous things. The organization changes can shake your project very well. So be watchful of them because they actually result in changing the strategy with which you are aligned, and now the strategy has changed due to the organization changes. So you have to quickly realign yourself. That is the lesson out of it.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, here we have got some examples for organization process assets and enterprise environmental factors. Well, organizational process assets from the classification of processes, policies, and procedures could be organization charts, procurement rules, hiring and onboarding procedures, and whatever you can think of. These are just a couple of examples. Organizational process assets could be procurement procedures and this procedures and safety protocols, everything. The hundreds and thousands of things which are in operation and they are the rules of the game. So they all will apply. These are the processes, policies, and procedures. As far as the knowledge base is concerned, as I told you, this is kind of a library or an archive or lessons learned repository or something like that, which you can refer to learn what happened in the earlier projects. As far as enterprise environmental factors, we have internal and external. Internal factors are imposed from within the organization, whereas external factors are imposed from outside of the organization. So what are the internal factors? Like, the resource capability within the organization is an internal factor because resources are going to come from the organization and they have not many capable people. Probably my project will run into problems and I may have to hire to more competent resources. Organization culture is inherited to the project. The way of working, how they behave, how they act and react to things, that becomes the nature of the organization, and we have to somehow follow that, adopt that in our projects. Use of IT software, again, that is specific to our organization. We use a specific workflow software or something, and naturally, we are restricted to be using that software. We have to align our project and design our project according to the facilitation of that software. Distribution of facilities, that is also an internal matter that who is located where and where are the facilities, where is the office of someone, where is the store and all that. So what facilities could be allocated to you for your project? These are all internal matters. As far as external enterprise environmental factors are concerned, they are impacting you from outside of the organization. That is like marketplace conditions, the law of the land, laws, rules, regulations, and standards. They're not created. The standards coming from the organization. They're coming from the from outside of the organization. So they may be the national policy, national laws, national regulations, national standards, whatever. Then we have operating conditions. Again, we are not creating the operating conditions. They are environmentally being imposed on you, right? Maybe it is snowing for next 3 months. So that means the operating conditions are like that. And we have to work in that environment. Social and cultural influences could be there. But again, I would say these are just a couple of examples. You could come up with a long list of examples in each one of these categories. Okay, from our Shopee Lifestyle Center, if you have gone through it, as you understand, there are 3 phases. In the first phase, we are constructing the shopping malls and the residential area in that kind of environment. And in the second phase, the first phase is predictive, second phase is agile, and in second phase, we are actually populating those buildings we have just constructed. We are, kind of looking for rentees we are going to populate the commercial areas and the residential areas and start earning money out of them. So their tenants are going to be there. So this is more agile approach. In the third phase, we are going to replicate our experience which we have had on this project on other projects. Anyways, so there is a list of some items here which are either EEF or OPAs, and you have to tell me which of them are enterprise environmental factors and which of them are organizational process assets.
Okay, the first one, A, that is the enterprise environmental factor.
Okay.
B, historical society conservation building regulations. That would also be enterprise environmental factor.
Good.
C, local neighborhood demand for a better town center. Also enterprise environmental factor.
Great.
Archive of past large infrastructure projects. That would be operational process asset.
Organizational process.
Organizational process asset. Approved vendor contractors list, also organizational process asset.
Good.
And tenant selection process is also organizational process asset.
Very well, very well. You are right in saying all that. First three are enterprise environmental factors, and last three are organizational process assets.
Yes.
Okay, another statement. This is an interesting statement. You have to tell me is it true or false. About enterprise environmental factors, it says these are the conditions, either internal or external, to the organization that are not under the control of the project team, which can influence, constrain, or direct the project at the organizational, portfolio, program, or project level.
True.
Very true. Actually, this is such a nice statement that I would like to write it down as the definition of enterprise environmental factor, because nowhere in the book such a comprehensive and concise definition has been given about enterprise environmental factors. So these
Okay.
are the conditions, either internal or external, because enterprise environmental factors can be internal or can be external to the organization, and they are not under your control. They are not under the control of project team, and they can influence or constrain or direct your project at any level.
Yes.
This is a beautiful definition. Okay, some other questions. Which three of the following are examples of enterprise environmental factors? Three of them are.
That would be A, B, and D.
Are you sure? C.
So
Employee capability is OPA.
yes.
So A, B, and D.
Yes.
Okay, we covered this topic of strategic alignment, and the next topic is project benefits and value. Do you have any questions on the previous section?
No questions on that.
Okay, let's move on with the project benefits and value. Okay, one thing we already understand from our earlier discussion, that we discussed the concept of outcomes and benefits. Outcomes are the immediate results, immediate short-term benefits coming out of a project immediately at the completion time, which are foreseeable, which can be checked, which can be tested, but these are not the long-term objective. Long-term long-term benefits would be coming long after we have taken over the product of the project. This discussion we already had. How do you think the project benefit and business value, do they have any relationship?
Project benefits and the business value. So we said that projects help to increase the capability to produce value,
Yep,
which yes, would influence the business value.
definitely. So when we are able to deliver benefits, that automatically means we are adding something to the business value, because our project is aligned with the strategy of the organization, and if it is doing well and its benefits have been accepted by the organization must have received the business value.
Yes.
Very good. Now, let us look at the business value from a very different perspective. Let me call it the total worth of the organization today. I know this is a very difficult question, but if I ask you that your organization is for sale today, how much money will it bring back?
Okay, so I guess there would be the physical assets if we talked about sort of the hospitals and the equipment.
Very good.
And then maybe you would include staff and the expertise of the staff as well.
Mm-hmm. So all the tangibles and intangibles are to be included. Assets, liquid assets, buildings, hospitals, everything included, plus the reputation you have created in the market, the trademark you have had, the name or the title of the business you are having. All of these things are having their own value, which sometimes is difficult to ascertain, but when you sell it off, you claim price for the name also, for the intangibles also. That means all the tangibles and intangibles, if they can be summed up and you can come up with a single figure of price for this business, that would be today's business value of your business. By no means I am saying that you have to sell it now, but I am pointing towards the fact that at all times, someone in the organization must be assessing the total worth of the business at any point in time. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, okay. I can see where you're coming from. I don't know if not just necessarily for my organization, but for other organizations. I don't know if there's sort of a dedicated person doing this all the time.
Yeah, people who are dealing with finance, they are actually responsible for that, but you should be aware that there is a business value. At any
Okay,
point,
yeah.
there is always a business value. There is a worth of this business, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, this is a $2 billion business, right? I'm just hypothetically saying right now the
Okay.
total worth is $2 billion. What about the future? When I'm trying to imagine the vision, I'm trying to imagine the future, I would say, for example, it should be where should we stand after 25 years. So,
Right.
will you imagine the business value at that point in time in future?
Yeah, hopefully increase.
It should be increased, right? And
Yeah.
then somehow calculate that, okay, how much increase you are expecting per year, and in 25 years, how much it would be. So something like that. Maybe you are saying if it is increasing by 10%, then the minimum I can expect is this much.
Okay.
So you can come up with an idea of what the business value in the future will be. So you know the business value today, and you can assume a business value in the future. And as you said, I fully agree with you. The future business value should be more than today. Definitely. Much more than today. Agree?
Yep. Agreed.
Okay. Keep that point in mind, because I'm going to make my very important point here. And that is, whatever we are doing in the organization, whether they're operations, projects, and everything, we are spending some money on it. And when we spend money on the salaries of the people, on operations, on projects, when we spend the money, we also expect the benefits out of it. So the benefits usually in a business should outweigh the expenses. You agree with me?
Say it again. About the expenses?
Whatever we are spending in our organization, whether on operations or projects or whatever is happening, that spending should be much lesser than the ultimate value we generate out of it. I mean, the ultimate benefit we get out of it. So
Yes, agreed.
the business value at any point in life of the project should be much more than the the expenses of the organization at that point in time. Agreed?
Agreed. Otherwise you're making a loss.
Right. So as you move ahead in the future, maybe you increase the number of operations, increase the number of projects, so your expenses will increase. So your business value should also keep increasing.
Right. Yeah. So the business value is it is not necessarily taking into account the expenses. We're just hoping that it will always be larger than the expenses.
Well, as I said, it is the approximate sum of all the tangibles and intangibles,
Right.
right? Even your trademark, your everything, the good value you have developed in the market, a good name you have earned in the market, all of that has a cost associated with it.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Now, with this knowledge in the back of your mind, I ask you, how many projects are you doing? You say we are doing, say, 20 projects right now. I say, okay, what is your business value today? So maybe, there's a computer program or something from where you can check that today our business worth is like $2 billion. I say, okay, what was your business value 1 year ago? And what will be your business value 1 year later? That is a big question. The business value
Right.
1 year before must be less than 2 billion, and 1 year later should be more than $2 billion. So if it is not that, if it remains the same, then your organization is putting in all that effort for nothing,
Yeah. Makes sense.
right? So that is where I wanted to make my point. Whatever you are doing in your organization at any one point in time, that must serve to add value to the business. If it is, if the for a whole 1 year you have been doing a lot many initiatives, you look very busy, things were happening, but your net worth has not increased a single penny. I would say you have done nothing in this 1 year. Agreed?
Agreed.
So whatever you had done, it should have increased the business value. So there is a disconnect between what you were doing and what you were getting.
Right.
That is a very important lesson. And that is a lesson for organization change as well. If you want to improve, you must have a target to improve, how much to improve. And then you should improve in that direction and you must deliver the business value subsequently. It should keep increasing. It should not remain static. So we shouldn't look busy, do nothing. We should.
Yeah.
Right. So you understand the concept of the business value. How do we
Yes.
examine the business value? We have to communicate with our stakeholders, do some research work, and use the expert knowledge, those like financial experts and other people.
So the only thing we need to do is I've got background noise if that's what you're hearing.
Okay. So my point here is to examine your business value. For that, you may have to communicate with all the relevant stakeholders, do some research work, get in touch with some experts on the area in the field. Then
Yes.
examine, evaluate, and confirm to determine exactly what is and can be of value. Now, this is a very tricky job. You know, shareholder value or stakeholder value, you cannot just guess it. You have to talk to them. You have to see, do you like, you can conduct surveys. Do you think the value has improved in the last 1 year or things like that? Maybe you do some customer value evaluation, the employee knowledge has increased or not. Channel or business partner value, are they happy with partnering with you because they are getting profits out of it, things like that.
Right.
Classically, there could be these 6 types of value you can generate of business. One is a purely financial gain. But there are, financial gain is a pure tangible kind of a thing. But there are other intangible benefits, like during this last 1 year, we have gained 50% more customers. The new customers is a promise. They may not have delivered much of value, but they are a promise because they are going to stay with us. They are going to linger with us. So this is a long-term benefit we are targeting at. New customer is an intangible benefit.
Yeah.
We do charity every year. Somebody would say, what is the fun in doing charity when you are losing money through charity? So, what is the business value in doing charity? What do you think?
I guess it would be you know you're spending, so you're losing money, but you're gaining in whatever value you are putting back to society through whatever the charitable activities are.
Exactly. It is a social benefit you are getting out of it, right? So,
Yes.
even if you are spending money, but this is an investment into the hearts of the people, right? So people will turn back to you, they will trust you, your organization and things like that. So this is also an intangible benefit. Another
Right.
benefit could be you are introducing some medical device which has never been used before in your country, and you are the first to market, right? If you are
Right.
first to use that equipment, you will generate enormous value. And after that, many people will follow. They will start using that technology and ultimately they start benefiting. But the person who did it first gets the lion's share.
Yes.
Okay, good enough. Fourth is
Yeah.
improvement. Improvement, that is technological or process. You have enhanced your mechanism. You have become more efficient, more on cutting edge technology over the passage of the time. This also adds respect to your business value. I mean, this is intangible as well. But this intangible is actually going to generate tangible value. If you
Yes.
maybe you have become more efficient, more effective, and thus you are producing double the amount of product, and maybe you are earning double the amount. So there is an impact of improvement on your overall business value.
Yeah.
Last but not the least, again, an intangible, that is regularization. For example, there is a healthcare standard which must be followed, and you are following that regulation, that international compliance you are fulfilling, or some kind of standard or regulations you are fulfilling, so your customers have confidence in you. They keep coming back to you because you are certified, you are compliant.
Yes. Yes.
This is also a business value. That's why, people show off their badges, their compliance, their standard they follow. With a company name, they say, we are ISO certified, we are this, we are that. So what is that? That is kind of attracting the client, not only the
Yeah.
client, but also marketing your worth in the market.
Yeah, makes sense.
Anyways, so I have given you an in-depth understanding on what the business value really is, right? We have
Yeah.
connected with the, uh, you know, uh, uh, how our business should keep increasing its business value. And whatever we do, a project or a program or even an operation must contribute something to the business value. When you are evaluating your project, you must consider if your project is unable to contribute anything to the business value of the organization, it is a useless project. You must consider closing it down if it cannot be improved.
Yeah.
Okay, once that is done, let us talk about the need assessment, which is here. I have mentioned it before also, that there is something called a requirements management plan. Remember that?
Yes. And did you say that that was produced by the business analyst?
Exactly, that is my point.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it started with the business analyst, and he was the person, even before the project was ever born, the business analyst started getting in touch with the customer, asked their requirements, assessed their needs, and started compiling the business case, right? So the need assessment and the data gathering had already started, meaning requirement management process had already started by the business analyst. Although I don't say that he was completely responsible for all the requirements, but later, whatever job business analyst has done, he has created a feasibility, and that feasibility has been approved. And once it comes to the project manager as a charter, project manager will then become responsible for the project, and naturally also for the business maintenance of the business case and for the requirement management plan. So,
Right.
in a way, I can say that requirement management plan is inherited to the project manager by the business analyst.
Okay.
And that is why we did not have a knowledge area by the name of requirement management as such, because this is not our knowledge area, this is the business analysis knowledge area.
So
But,
how
but
does that sort of work when we briefly touched on agile teams, where maybe in an agile team you don't have someone called the project manager, you don't have someone, or maybe you have a business analyst, maybe you don't, I don't know, but you have the product owner instead who manages the backlog.
We do have business analysts and project managers there as well, but we don't really call them the project manager. Project manager is normally called the team lead or a scrum master. But if you call him project manager, I don't mind. Similarly,
Okay.
the business analyst for an agile project would be like an agile business analyst, right? But
So
generally speaking, it would not be right to call a business analyst as agile or predictive. Again, they have a choice whether this initiative can be done in a predictive way or an agile way. But business analysts can suggest that this initiative must be done in an adaptive or agile manner, and that one can be done only in a predictive manner. A suggestion can come, but they do have knowledge about agile as well as hybrid and predictive. Similarly, the project managers also have knowledge about all these things.
So you said the project manager in an agile kind of setup more aligns with the team leader or scrum master, but does the business analyst doesn't line up with the product owner?
Not really, not really.
Not really.
Actually,
Okay.
business analyst job is generally considered completed after he has created the business case. Or
Okay.
I personally believe and understand that the role of business analyst may continue until the end of the project, rather until the benefits are delivered. Meaning what? That even the business analyst could be working even after the project has been completed. Because he is the person who is coordinating with the stakeholder,
Right.
confirming to them that, okay, you gave me this requirement, see, this has been completed, see, the benefits have come, like that. So he's overall
Okay.
responsible for the whole line of product. But at the same time, as far as the project work is concerned, in Agile, product owner is the boss of the product,
Yeah.
right? And project manager is, though we don't call him a project manager, if you want to call him a project manager, that is the team lead
Team
or
lead.
the
Okay.
scrum master. The name is different, but I
Yeah.
don't mind if you still call him a project manager, but with an
Okay.
understanding that this is an agile project manager.
Right.
Okay. So from the business analysis point of view, as I said, yes, this guy has the knowledge of predictive approach and agile approach, and this person can suggest how this project can be done. So he recommends proposals to address what should be done, what are the constraints, assumptions, risks, and dependencies. It can give you the success criteria or success measures. And most importantly, how should it be done? He can tell you at the end of the business case that this can be done in an adaptive manner or an agile manner or a hybrid manner, whatever. He can suggest.
Okay.
But the decision still remains with the project manager when he comes into being, how he wants to do that project, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, this question, okay, answer is already displayed. You can see that
Okay.
often before a project starts, business analysts or engineers conduct a need assessment for project approval and funding. Which two of the following are items identified are specified in a needs assessment for a new project? So as you can see, the answers is project manager is not yet assigned. Project business goals and objectives, definitely. Potential constraints, assumptions, and risks, definitely. As far as individual or department who will handle the procurement, that is ridiculous because project has yet not started and you are worried about the procurement invoices. You are worried
Yep,
about
makes sense.
who the project manager is going to be. These A and D are not correct. So the B
Yes.
and C can only be the right options.
Yep.
Okay, as far as the business documents are concerned, uh, what are the business documents? Actually, let me tell you that business analyst, when he is creating the business case, he is creating certain business documents. Business case is one of those documents. Classically speaking, there are two major documents. One is the business case, and the other is the benefit management plan. Just like I said, the requirements are collected by the business analyst, and this is his or her responsibility to maintain the requirement management. Although, when the project manager comes into being, he takes over that responsibility, he takes over that business case and the benefit management plan, and he takes the responsibility for the life of the project.
Right.
So that was number one thing, the business case. And one more thing. These two documents, which I am just mentioning, are based on the demand. And what was the demand? It was called business need by the strategy. Strategy suggested a business need to be evaluated by the business analyst, and business analyst then conducted a feasibility to present a business case to the strategic management as if they can approve or reject it. Now, once a business case is final, business analyst has a fair idea what are going to be the benefits of this initiative and how and when they will be accomplished. So he will develop, beside the business case, another document which is called the benefits management plan. Benefit management plan does not come under the responsibility of the project manager. Similarly, business cases also doesn't come under the responsibility of project manager. He doesn't create them. Business analyst creates these two documents.
Okay.
Although when the charter is given to the project manager, these documents are provided to the project manager to maintain during the life of a project. And when the project is completed and handed over to the customer, these documents are to be handed over to the customer.
The business case and the benefits management
Benefits
plan
management plan.
to be handed over to the customer.
Yes.
Okay.
For customer, business case is not that important because business case has already been achieved. The only thing mentioned in business case was the benefits. Now, we have a benefit management plan for that. So, customer can have a fair idea what are the benefits to be achieved and how are they to be achieved. Business case will tell them what benefits are to be achieved in long term, and benefit management plan will tell them how to do that.
Okay.
So basically, these documents are not created by the project manager. They were created by the business analyst, later handed over to the project manager for the life of the project. After the project is completed, it is handed over to whomsoever the customer or the organization which is taking over the product, and they will be handed over these documents for further processing.
Okay.
So these are the two documents. Business case justifies the project and establishes boundaries. Boundaries mean it tells you the scope of the project broadly. What is to be done, what is not to be done, what is in scope and what is out of scope. So it will include the cost benefit analysis. It will include the business need. Remember, business need was the input to the business case. Business need was not created by the business analyst. This was given to the business analyst. He, to fulfill this business need, he is trying to do the feasibility study, and ultimately, cost benefit analysis is a feasibility study, and ultimately he justifies that this business case is valid and it must be approved. Acceptance of the business case by the strategic committee usually lead to the creation of the project charter. Project charter, they allow the project sponsor to issue the project charter to the project manager, right? This is the journey. Business need given to the business analyst, he creates business case and benefit management plan, these two documents. Once the business case has been approved, it is given to the project sponsor who creates the project charter and gives the charter to the project manager, which is an authorization to the project manager as if he can mobilize resources to do the work of the project. So that path is for the project manager. Benefit management plan is for long-term use, and that could be used by the customer later. But during the life of the project manager will manage and maintain it. Right?
Yes.
So what is the benefit management plan? It should include processes for creating the benefits, maximizing the benefits, and sustaining them for a long time. Now, these benefits could be short-term or long-term. Long-term benefits are those which are to be realized long after the project has closed, maybe a couple of years after the end of the project, after the operations have actually yielded those benefits. And short-term benefit could be an outcome which could be visible by the time the project is ending. So as far as outcomes are concerned, they can be made responsibility of the project managers because these are those short-term benefits which could be realized at the time of the completion of project. And the long-term objective are the classic benefits, which are to be realized in long term. So I'm calling outcomes as short-term benefits and long-term benefits are the benefits.
Yeah.
Every benefit identified must be assigned a benefit owner or a person accountable for that benefit. Every benefit, some stakeholder must be made responsible for that benefit. The responsibility can switch, but you see, there must be someone assigned to each benefit.
Okay.
Then we must establish some metrics or measurement mechanism how to measure these benefits. And then we must take assumptions, constraints, or risks relevant to benefit management. So now you know that business analyst creates these two documents, and collectively we call these two documents as business documents.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, let us have a 10-minute break and then I can start with these tools. We will cover them today. So having a break for 10 minutes now.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes, Michael, are you there?
Hi, Suhail.
Okay, hi. Okay, now we are going to study some of the methods for benefit measurement. These are also kind of ways for the feasibility study. Anywhere in your life, whenever you're trying to see whether whatever you are going to do is viable or not, you do some kind of calculations. One of those methods is called cost benefit analysis. You see how much are you spending on this initiative and how much is going to be the returns, and you definitely want to ensure that the returns are far exceeded by the cost, because if it is equal to the cost, then it is giving you zero benefit. So this is called cost benefit analysis. There are a couple of terms and techniques which can be used for that, and I'll be covering that. But there is a lot of calculation involved in it. But practically speaking, you can read the last line of the slide. You will not need to calculate any of these for the exam. The
Okay,
PMP exam will carry very simple questions about it, not a lot of calculations, right?
right.
Okay. First term we need to understand is opportunity cost. You have a choice. Maybe you have got three different options. Out of those three different options, you find that option A is the best option and I must adopt it.
Yep.
The question arises, what is then the opportunity cost?
Uh, so so if you took that example, there's three options,
There are three
and you
options.
decided on one of them's the best one,
One is the
but you
best one.
can't do all three. So the other two that you don't do would be the opportunity cost.
Yes. Okay, say again.
Three options. You pick the best one, but you can't do all three. So the ones that you don't do are the opportunity cost.
Okay. That is what I need to clarify. It is not all the other options which were not selected. The cost of those are not the opportunity cost. But remember this thing, opportunity cost is the opportunity cost for only the second best option. Only the
Right,
second
only
best
the
option.
second best. Okay.
Don't consider third, fourth, fifth, or sixth option. They are not to be considered. You have
Okay.
lost the opportunity between one and two. You chose number one. Number two is the lost opportunity. So that is the opportunity cost.
Okay.
Because I've seen questions in the exam where it says that, okay, there were five opportunities, there are five options, and you have picked the first option. What is and there are costs given there also, that this is the opportunity cost, this is the cost of this one, option one, option two, option three, option four, option five. So what is the opportunity cost? So I have seen people doing addition of option two, three, four, and five and saying this is total sum is the opportunity cost. That is wrong. You simply
Okay. It's
take up the
only the
value.
second best.
Yes, please.
Only the second best. We're not considering the other ones.
Why are we not considering the other ones?
Um, I I'm not sure. I don't know what the
No, no,
answer
no.
is to that question.
I know that. I know that. Actually, you are what is the first thing you are sacrificing to go for option number one?
Option
You are
two.
sacrificing option number two, right?
Yep.
Three and four are too down in the list. So they are not to be considered opportunity cost. Okay, if
Okay.
at all you want to consider, then if you pick option number two, option number three will be the opportunity cost.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Only one thing can be opportunity cost, the second best.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, are you aware about the concept of net profit?
Net profit, yes.
Okay, good, very good. So I am trying to carry out a business, or I'm trying to do an initiative, and I have to put in $100,000 in the beginning of that business. $100,000
Okay.
is my investment, only one-time investment. I don't have to invest on yearly basis. This initiative
Yep.
is going to run for 5 years. In the first year, if you can note down these figures, the initial investment is 100,000. The first year, we have got, I think I should write it down on screen as if it can be visible. Okay. Investment is 100,000. First year, end of first year, right?
Right.
End of first year, I get 10,000. And second year, I get 15,000. Third year, I get, say, 25,000. Okay, I think that is all right.
Okay.
So these are the figures I have. So how much have you invested in it? 100,000.
Yes.
What is what is the, what is the cost of doing, what is the returns coming after 1 year is 10,000. What are the total
Yes.
returns? 10,000 plus 15,000 plus 25,000.
Yeah. Okay. So we have 50,000.
50,000. So your investment is 100,000 and the money coming back is only 50,000. So
Yes.
my net profit formula would be like net profit is equal to benefits minus total cost. Total benefit minus total cost. So what are
Yep.
my total benefits here?
50,000.
50,000. And what is my total investment?
100,000.
So what is the answer?
Negative 50,000.
So is it feasible?
Going by this, no.
It is not feasible. It is not feasible. So very simple rule for net profit is that if it is negative, it is not feasible. If it is positive, it is feasible. If
Yep.
it is zero, it is also not feasible. Naturally, we don't want to be earning nothing.
Right. Yep.
But this is a very simple formula, but this is the basic calculation, but it is no good. It is no good. Why? Why this is no good? Can you find any faults with this method? This can
Can
give
you
you
what? Sorry.
an idea, but this is
Yeah.
not the situation.
Okay.
Can you give me some reason why it is not good?
Um, as the number of years increase,
Hmm?
hopefully that means the benefits will increase and eventually you will get positive.
Okay. Okay, that I agree. But even for 3 years, this is not a very good return, right?
No.
Let me add few more years to it, and then we can be in a better situation. Say fourth year you get 50,000, and fifth year you get 75,000. Now
Okay.
comes out to be your net profit will be
75.
no. We have got 175. So 175 minus 100,000 is equal to plus 75,000.
Yes. Yep.
Does this look all right with you?
Yes, that looks good.
This is positive. This is positive, and it is a good situation. But the question is it a good method? We are not considering that the time value of money is going to increase over years. That
Right.
the dollar value today is not equal to the dollar value tomorrow,
Yes.
right? So this state calculation could be a good guess, but it is not realistic. And for that purpose, we have to apply some other method, which can give me the true value, the time value of money. For that, I may have to go to another method, which is called net present value, right?
Right.
But before doing that, let me do two more checks on it. First of all, let us get introduced to a payback period method. What is a payback period? Okay, tell me, when your $100,000 investment will be fully recovered, will it be recovered by the end of first year? No.
No.
Second year? No. Third year? No. Fourth year? Yes.
Yeah.
So when your total investment is recovered, that much period is called payback period. So the payback period for this project is 4 years.
Yes.
You agree with that?
Yep. Agreed.
Payback period is also a method, and I would like to use this method if I am investing money in this initiative by taking a loan from somewhere, from bank or something. So when I'm taking a loan from the bank, my full effort would be to pay it off as early as possible.
Yes.
Agree with me?
Yep.
So whichever option allows me the shortest payback period would be considered the most feasible from this point of view. But remember, this is only showing you the payback period. It is not telling you otherwise how valuable this initiative is going to be. For example, I want to start a business and I need $100,000 for that. I have 3 or 4 different options to start different businesses. One business pays me back in 3 years, one business pays me back in 2 years, and one business pays me back in 1 year. I am not considering how much in the long term benefit I'll be getting, but I am only concerned about the shortest payback period, which is 1 year. That means after 1 year, I can pay back all my loans completely, and then I'll own my business. And after that moment, even if the payback is not that good, I don't mind.
Yeah.
And my point? Because
Yes. Understand.
I have got rid of the loan.
Yes.
So this is only for that kind of situation where you have to pay back. So this method is a special method only used for that purpose. Okay, net profit it looked good, but it was not accurate. To make it a little bit more sensible, let us introduce another method, which is called ROI, return on investment. So what was the total investment? 100,000.
Yes.
Okay, what was the total, benefit? That was 175,000. So
Yes.
rather than, considering this to be subtracted directly from the benefit, from the cost, benefit from the cost, cost from the benefit, what we do is we say, okay, well, we have got 175,000 as the total benefit, right? Let us divide, no, net profit. Net profit was 75,000. I'm sorry. Net profit was 75,000. We take the figure of net profit and divide it into 5 years, right?
Okay.
So what is the answer? 15,000 per year. So I
Yes.
have 15,000 average profit receiving per year.
Okay.
It's not the
Yep.
exact profit, but it is the approximate average benefit every year. Got it?
Yes. Yep.
Now, my investment was 100,000. What is 15,000 against 100,000? How much percentage is 15,000 of 100,000?
15%.
15%?
Yes.
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 Okay. So that means my return on investment is approximately 15,000 per year. No, sorry. I will take the average and divide it with 1,000. Yeah, you are right. 15%.
Yep.
15% is my average profit.
Okay.
Let me see if I am correct. No, it is not 15%. It is 1.5%, isn't it?
Uh, 15,000 divided by 100,000.
Yeah,
I think that.
multiplied by 100. No,
Yeah,
15 is the correct
should
answer.
be 15%.
15 is okay. So 15% is my answer. That is my return on investment. Okay.
Okay.
So this is how we calculate it. Now we are left with two methods, that is NPV and internal rate of return. Now let me move on to the next slide for that. Okay, let's talk about net present value. Now, you have to be a little attentive to me because I'll be talking about little money management and cash flows. Uh, First of all, you understand that if you put $100,000 in your bank account and bank gives you an interest on that, you can clearly calculate what you will get after 1 year.
Yes.
Say, for the matter of clarity, let's say bank gives you 10% interest. You put in $100,000. What will you get by the end of 1 year?
10,000. An additional 10,000. Yeah.
An additional 10,000. That means your amount will become 110,000 after
Yes.
1 year. So let
Yes.
the money lie there for another year. And what are you going to be having in your account by the end of second year?
An additional 11,000.
11,000. Very good. So it becomes 121,000. And
Yes.
this method is called compounded interest.
Yes.
The all the money in the account remains there in the bank for 1 year, and then you get 10% on total of that. So the third year it will be like 133,300, and so on.
Yeah.
It will
Yeah.
keep increasing by 10%. Right. But that was a different story. That was if I invest money today, what will it become tomorrow? But net present value is a different method. It says that this approach is promising you that you will get $100,000 after 1 year. What is it worth today? Calculate what is it worth today. That money is not available. That is going to be available after 1 year. But what is it worth today? How can you calculate in reverse? Do you have
Oh,
any idea?
okay. Right. Okay. I don't know off the top of my head, but I see what you're getting at.
Mhm. Okay, just let me clarify. When we move forward into the time from today to future, this is called interest rate.
Yeah.
But when we start moving backwards from the future to the present, it is called discount rate.
Yeah.
The interest rate and the discount rate, they are set by the banking system. Maybe the Federal Reserve Bank or the state bank of the country or something like that. They
Right.
issue the banks this instruction that for this year, the discount rate is going to be this much and interest rate is going to be this much. Because when you put your money in the bank, you get interest, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
at the same time, another client applies for a loan and they get the loan, they get your money, and they pay back to the bank, out of which you get the profit, but bank also makes a humongous amount of money.
Yeah.
Pay you 10%, but they keep the remaining amount, which could be
Yeah.
anything, right? So
Yes.
that means that they are charging much more to the person whom they are giving the loan.
Yes.
That is the point, right? So that is
Yeah.
why the discount rate has to be different from the interest rate.
Yes.
So, okay, if it is 100,000, and for example, 100,000 by the end of the next year, which I receive, and if the discount rate is 10%, what should it be today? That is a tricky question.
So say it again. We have. Did you say we have 100,000 1 year from now?
Yes,
So we want to work out today with the discount rate of
10%.
10%. Um. Okay. What is that? And this in the future, 100K. Okay. Uh, so do we divide by 0.9?
Not exactly, not exactly. But I understand where you are getting onto. Most people think it that way, but actually it is not like that. Uh, okay, let me say. If a simple calculation I'll tell you, let us assume the interest rate and the discount rate is equal, right?
Okay.
So if you put $100,000 at the rate of 10% forward, it will become 110,000.
Right. So that's interest rate, and after a year, you've added 10% to get
Okay,
110,000. Yeah.
now I'm saying, what will it become at a, let me say, you have to find the X value at 10% on the reverse order.
Yeah.
If that amount is $100,000. Now, this is the question. So this
Right.
is a simple mechanism of cross multiplication, by the way.
Yeah. So this time then you take 100,000 divided by 1.1.
Okay. This multiplied
And
by this, and this multiplied by this. Right? If you have studied cross multiplication, that is very simple. That means the equation becomes 110,000 x is equal to 100,000 into 100,000. You got it?
right. Yeah.
Actually, now if I leave x here and bring it all, this amount, and divide it on the other side, that would mean divided by you got that?
Yeah.
Actually, that is going to give you the answer. You understand that?
Yep. Yep.
So it will not be exactly divided by 0.9, it will be approximately by 0.9091. Right?
Yeah. So that works out if you take the 100K and divide by 1.1, you get the same answer.
It is written here.
Yeah.
Approximately it is 0.91.
Yeah.
And for 2 years it is 0.83. For 3 years it is 0.75. So, having said all that, this is your net present value from the net profit point of view. You have invested 1,200 in the beginning of the year. First year you get 400, second year you get 800, third year you get 600, fourth year you get 1,200. So if I was adopting the simple plus minus formula, I would say minus 1,200 plus 400 plus 800 plus 600 plus 1,200 comes out to be 1,200 cancelled by 1,200. So we are plus by 1,800.
Yes.
That is straight formula. Okay, what about this? Now, this is the very true situation, net present value. It says your 400, you are assuming by the end of the year one you will get 400, but 400 is worth only $364. Today,
Yes.
you don't count it as 400, you count it as 364. The $800 after 2 years is worth $664 today.
Yeah.
$600 after 3 years is worth $450 today. And $1,200 after 4 years is worth $816 today. So now you add it up, and that will give you the net present value. And you see the difference.
Yep, gotcha.
$21. It is something like 800 or something. I don't know exactly, but you can sum it up and you will find the answer.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this method is called net present value, and this is very much ingrained in the banking system. What are you trying to judge here is whether it is suitable to invest in a business or to keep money in the bank.
Yes.
Right? So this method is more appropriate for there. So if it is, you are getting less than what the bank gives, it is not feasible, right? But
Yeah.
as I have shown you earlier, that bank is giving you 10%, but they are charging more percentage from the person who is getting the loan.
Yes.
That means the internal capacity of a business is usually more than what the bank pays. If I start
Right.
a business, the inherent capacity for that business to earn money is more than what the bank can earn. That's why banks invest in businesses. Bank
Yeah.
invests money in businesses because business gives them large dividend, whereas they have to pay off just 10%. You agree with me?
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. So if you understand that thing, then we have to somehow forget about the discount rate which the bank gives. Rather, we have to use the NPV formula in a different way. We will say, okay, if the NPV is equal to 0, that means if NPV is equal to 0, that means whatever has been invested has been recovered, right? That is called a break-even point. If
Yeah.
NPV is 0, that is a break-even point. If I could know at what percentage my NPV will exactly be equal to 0, that would be my internal rate of return for that project. For example, if your NPV becomes 0 at 10%, or say 12%, it becomes 0 at 12%, that means my internal rate of return is 10%. Now I have got 5 different projects and they are giving me different internal rate of return. One is giving 8%, one is giving 12%, one is giving 15%, one is giving 18%. So which project will I select? The minimum or the maximum?
You want to run the maximum one to give the maximum rate of return.
Which one?
The maximum.
Maximum one. So we will be getting like 18% on the maximum one. So my internal rate of return is 18%. It is a very long
Yes.
calculation. It is a hit and trial method. It is not possible to show you all the calculations here, but you will have to keep do the calculations for various percentages. On 1%, what is the NPV? What on 2%, what is the NPV? On 8%, what is the NPV? So maybe you find that this is between 11 and 12. There is some point which becomes 0. So you
Yeah.
try out 11.5%, and then you do all the calculations, and then you find maybe it is 11.77% when the NPV becomes exactly 0. So that is my IRR,
Yeah.
that project. I hope I didn't confuse you too much.
No, that's okay. I think I followed it.
Okay, good, good. Anyways, these were the various methods for cost and benefit analysis. Which three of the following are financial-based benefit measure methods?
That would be the top three,
Top three.
A, B, C.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, the opportunity cost is defined as the value of a proposed project selected. True or false?
False.
It is false. It is the second best project not selected.
Yes.
Which of the following is a financial tool that calculates the present value of all cash outflows minus the present value of all cash inflows?
Present value of all cash outflows minus the present value of all cash inflows. Internal. Minus the present value. That's the that's
Which one?
net present value, net B.
Yeah, of course, that is the only option because it talks about the present value.
Yeah.
So that is the right answer. Anyways, I stop here. I don't want to go on with the with a new discussion right now. Tomorrow when we start, I will start with a detailed description about what is OKR and how does it work. Right?
Okay.
Remember,
Yeah.
objectives and key results. So we'll talk about that, and we'll do that tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Anything you want to ask about? Anything?
This is just something that that was touched on in the first session. But you mentioned there was some kind of help with writing the application for the PMP when we get to it. How does that sort of work?
I mean, how to fill the application?
I think you said that the PM training school helps with
Oh,
the
yes,
applications.
yes. You get in touch with PM Training School. Dr. Faz keeps writing you emails. Whenever
Yes.
you're ready for filling your application, you get in touch with them. They will get your data. They will fill your application all by themselves, right? They will submit
Right.
it from your side and they will let you know when you are ready. Your application is approved.
Oh, okay. So it go through Dr. Fires.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so we are done for today and we'll meet you again tomorrow morning. I hope Colin also joins us tomorrow. Today we have no report where he is. But anyways, thank you very much for joining and learning. Thank you very much and take care.
Thank you so much. Catch you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.